Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. The market is now closed, another ripping week, and let's figure out what's going on because we can see this green zone. I've had it out here for a long time, for several months. We've had this green zone out here, and we are just now getting into it. So let's figure out what's going on. And if you do have any questions, feel free to drop by the live stream. It goes live every day the market's open at 2 p.m. Eastern. And some of the things that we've been talking about here lately this week was really starting looking for those bearish plays, those bearish moves on the market where we kind of get to how do we want to set up for them and those kinds of things. So if you are interested in any of that, feel free to just go ahead and stop by the live stream. So let's just go ahead and start by what went on this week. We'll look at what went on this week and then we'll come back to the daily picture. So Monday, Tuesday, really we just saw some pretty good strength. Now, I want to point out this blue line here, this blue line that we had at the top of June the 2nd, which is at the 417.44 point level. The reason why that's significant because Monday we actually got right to it and right above it. So if we go intraday, we'll go to a 15-minute intraday. So this is Monday, and you'll see that we traded right up to it, got above it for over the course of about 30 minutes. We were above it roughly twice. And then we mostly just sold down then the rest of the day Monday. We just kind of pulled back. So that was a good time to try to get bearish. Not going to lie, that was a good one. That was a pretty major support level that we had from back in May. So it did make sense to try to get bearish there. It was definitely not one that I played. I thought we'd kind of wind up breaking out, but I could definitely see the logic behind trying to play that bearish. And then Tuesday was just kind of a wait day. I mean, we did trade a little bit lower, but we mostly were pretty flat compared to the open. We didn't really do too much. We mostly was waiting for Wednesday morning. Okay, Wednesday morning, we got CPI numbers. The CPI numbers came out, and we had a pretty strong gap up. It was a gap of about 1.5%. And the first hour, we just kind of retested right into that support line. We didn't actually hold below it at all. Had some bounces and then just kind of went sideways for most of the day. So we didn't do too much as far as the intraday aspect goes, but we had some pretty good gap up action. Thursday morning, we had another gap up again, traded higher for the first 45 minutes. Looked very much like Monday where we gapped up, traded higher, and then just sold off. Pretty much Thursday, gapped up, traded higher, and then sold off. Ended the day negative. And then Friday morning came out, and this was the day really that kind of set the tone because you had to wonder about Thursday if Friday we were just going to maybe keep selling down and get back below the support level, which then this would have been a multi-day false breakout back, above this support line at 417.50 type area. So that would have been very interesting if Friday we would have broke down and got back below that support level area. But that's not what happened. We actually saw the opposite of that happen. Gapped up, kind of traded sideways for the first hour and a half. We had some information come out as consumer sentiment came out 30 minutes into the market open or 30 minutes after the market opened. And then it just kind of ticked up for the rest of the day, and it got a little stronger as we got closer to the close in the last about hour and a half, 2 hours. So that was kind of what went on this week, kind of the pace. We had not really much bullish intraday activity except for Friday. Most of the bullish activity came on gap ups. Monday, we had a gap up, traded down. Tuesday, we traded down. Wednesday, we just had the big gap up. That was the gap up where we got above the support level and the market held, but it didn't really do too much during the day. And then Thursday, we had another gap up, traded down. Friday, we had another gap up, and then it actually traded higher. That was really the story of the week. And this price action, the way we ended out this week, I do expect us to continue bullish for Monday, maybe Tuesday, possibly early Wednesday. But I would not be looking to be bullish. I would not be looking to be bullish for the time being. I was actually putting out a message Thursday, mid-morning, roughly. That basically I was taking off a lot of bullish type positions. I said I was going to do that, I think, the previous week. Once we got to like that 425 type area, I was going to be taking off my bullish plays and definitely start looking for some bearish plays. I'm not seeing them yet. The way we close this week and Friday, I'm going to look for the market to push a little bit higher and possibly wait for a break of the 430 level, which is going to be very important because the high back over here on May the 4th may the 4th be with you, was 429.66. So that'll be a very important level around that 430 area. And that's also where the 200-day moving average is. It's also where we're going to have a downward trending line that goes back to the beginning of the year. So there's going to be a lot of major resistance kind of here. But if we do pop over 430, make a run and get over like 432, maybe get to like 433 or so, we'll see if we actually close over 432 one day. Because if we do, that will be within the 10% of all-time high type area. And it'll be interesting to see all the headlines that come out from that close. So my game plan kind of going into this next week is I will be looking to probably buy puts on the market, and it's not going to be any near-term puts. This could be an ugly, choppy, nasty kind of breakdown over several months type action. It could be really nasty. And so I'm probably going to be going out to the earliest is maybe June of next year on the expirations. And yeah, I wouldn't be looking to do anything near term. Okay. So that's kind of my game plan. I'll be doing that probably around the 430 to 433 type levels. See kind of how we get into some of these levels. See if anything looks like it's starting to break down. Then I'll probably start to do that. But it's going to make sense to potentially start to get in bearish here. If you are going to be getting in bearish, because the other thing is we also have a pretty good resistance level right here at the bottom of this pattern that we had around the mid-April timeframe. And that's going to be around the 435, 436 type area, 438. So there's going to be a lot of resistance in that 430 to 440 area. And I mean, we've already had just a monster run higher here. So I do think we are kind of towards the end of it. I wouldn't be looking to be bullish by any means. If you're looking to be bullish, I would definitely want a retest, where I would really want to see a retest of especially this type of line. And then maybe if we carry higher and we break that high that we'll probably put in here pretty soon. But I would not be looking to be bullish currently. I would definitely be waiting. And if you wanted to try to be bullish, I'll potentially be buying on any kind of retest zone that you think is going to be really solid. I don't think it's going to hold. I think we'll wind up just rolling over, but it makes sense to get bullish on a retest of any kind of solid support level. And this one around the 417.50 area will make a lot of sense. I think it would make sense if we do retest that. And if we do push higher, hey, you know what? Good call for you. But I think we'll wind up breaking it down, just kind of keep trading lower over the next couple months and make a run back down to the lows that we put in on June the 17th on the SPY. So that is my game plan really for the SPY. I'm going to be looking to get bearish over probably the course, I think, this next Monday, Tuesday. Probably just have to see how strong the market is on Monday, Tuesday. But as we kind of get up into these zones around the 430 area, I'm probably going to be looking for it. The Qs, though, definitely did call this out last week to watch out for the Qs to start slowing down to the upside, as I thought the 428 to 430 level are going to be pretty tricky. There's a lot of resistance in there, but we see that the Qs actually broke and closed above this downward trend line that goes back to the beginning of the year. And it really closed right on the support level back from the cluster that it had back in late April, early May kind of choppiness, and really right on that high it had from May the 4th. Okay. But it actually did get above it today. So we'll probably just expect to see it continue early next week, but it did underperform the SPY this week. So that's what I'm saying. Like, just start to look for the Qs to slow down. They're probably not going to be continuing up at the pace that they were over the previous few weeks. And yeah, I mean, I don't really see them getting above this blue box type zone. So really anything in that 337, really, I don't expect them to get above 340. Like this type of area, they might get a little bit above this blue box, but it won't be much. I think this blue box is going to be the area that they kind of top out in. But this next week in the live stream, I'll probably just be working on, how far down I think we can kind of get to on the SPY, because that kind of will help us understand which options that we will kind of want to be buying. And so if you do want to come join for that, feel free to come join for that. We'll kind of just be doing some analysis like that and trying to position the best we can for any kind of bearish move that we'll probably be seeing on the market. But if we just run through some of these stocks real quick, like AAPL. So we're going to run through some of these big time tech company stocks, and AAPL is one that is very intriguing. Along with the SPY, this might be one I buy puts on. And one of the biggest reasons why might buy puts on this one is solely in fact of how large of a company it is. There was an article that actually came out Thursday, and I'll bring it up right here, that Apple rules the S&P 500 with the highest weighting for any company since 1980. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. As we all know, if you know anything about statistical analysis and reversion to the mean, that just it doesn't hold up. It's just not going to hold up. So I do think if we do see bearishness on the market, it might be driven in a major factor with AAPL. I think AAPL might be a big reason why. And if we look at some of these other big time tech companies, and if we look at some of these other big time tech companies like Google, they really haven't had the bounce like Apple has. You know, Amazon, they've had a pretty good bounce right off of their earnings, but even still, it hasn't been nearly as strong as Apple. They're not anywhere close to their all-time high like Apple is. Another one, Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't look nearly as strong as Apple does. So there's a lot of reasons why I think Apple might be primed for a potential bearish play. And a lot of it has to do with they're the ones that haven't really lost as much value as the other companies. And as we start to go into the next bullish market, you know, even if we look at Netflix, you know, Netflix has been absolutely obliterated this year. You know, as we go into the next bullish market, here's Meta. You know, Meta's also been obliterated. People are going to start to look for the next investments, the next Amazons, the next Apples, the next Netflixes, you know, the next Microsofts, the next Googles. And really the one where they can liquidate a lot of value is Apple. Apple's been the one that's been most resilient. I get that. And it's been kind of nice. So if you haven't been locking up, you know, gains in Apple and you've seen it come back this far from its all-time high, you know, it's roughly 6% from its all-time high. So there's a lot of reasons why I think Apple could probably see the end of its supremacy. You know, it just is what it is. It's not that Apple's a bad company and I think they're going to zero, not by any means. It's just has more to do with version of the mean. I'm not exactly the most bullish person on the SPY. And if I'm not bullish on the SPY, then obviously I'm not going to be bullish on the most valuable company and the biggest weighting on the SPY, which is Apple. So if you want to come get in the live stream with us on 2 p.m. and we can kind of walk through some scenarios and potentially, you know, what kind of options positions to kind of get into, or if you have questions, you know, feel free to come by. Let's figure it out. I don't want to give you answers. I want to show you kind of how to understand the world of finance because it can be complicated, especially early on. But that really kind of does it for me this week. I think mostly the thing to watch over this next week is going to be the FOMC minutes that come out 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And therefore, I will be starting the live stream 10 minutes earlier on Wednesday. That way we can get in there and be seeing how the market's reacting. But we have seen absolutely just a fantastic run here on the market over the past, you know, roughly 5 weeks. And it's gone up 18% from the June low. And it's roughly 11% from the all-time high. Okay. So if it gets up just like 1 more percent, if it gets up over 432, that's going to be about that 10% from all-time high. And that will bring out all the headlines saying that we're no longer in a correction and those kinds of things. So if that does happen, just be aware that you will see those headlines, but that probably won't be the time to go bullish if we just continue to go higher. If we kind of come back down, we retest, and then later on we push higher, okay, you know, that might be a little bit of a different story. But for now, if that happens here over the next week, I would not be looking to be bullish at all. And if that happens, I'll probably be buying more puts. So if you have any questions, come on by the live stream. The information is down below in the description area. Other than that, have a great weekend. Alrighty, take care, all funders.